The worst part about losing my mother wasn't the grief. It was having to keep my composure while my brother tried to steal my son at her memorial dinner. My name is Christine, and exactly 4 days after we buried Mom, I sat in Morton's Steakhouse's private dining room surrounded by crystal glasses and judging relatives. My 9-year-old son Max was beside me, picking at his chicken fingers, still wearing the tie that had been too big for his neck at the funeral. "A toast," my brother Jackson announced, standing with his perfect posture and perfectly pressed suit. "To Ruth Whitfield, the strongest woman we've ever known." Everyone raised their glasses. I noticed my sister-in-law Selena's practiced smile as she clinked her wine against Jackson's. She'd spent the whole service dabbing at dry eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. "Mom would have wanted us to handle this as a family," Jackson continued, not sitting down. "Which is why tonight isn't just about remembering her. It's about protecting her legacy, especially when it comes to Max." My fork froze halfway to my mouth. Aunt Clara, sitting across from me, narrowed her eyes. "What exactly does that mean?" I asked, keeping my voice steady for Max's sake. Selena touched Jackson's arm with manicured fingers. "We've been worried about you, Christine. The way you've been struggling since Tom died, and now with Ruth." She pulled out a manila envelope. "We think it's best if Max stays with us for a while, just until you're more stable." The room went quiet except for the clink of silverware. My cousin Julia wouldn't meet my eyes. "You want to take my son?" The words came out barely above a whisper. "Temporarily," Jackson said, sliding papers across the table. "We've already spoken to Family Services. They agree that with your history of depression and recent erratic behavior, Max needs a more structured environment." Max's hand found mine under the table. I squeezed it, remembering how Mom used to say that strength isn't about not being afraid. It's about what you do when you're terrified. "What erratic behavior?" Aunt Clara demanded. "She missed 3 school pickups last month," Selena said smoothly. "Her business is struggling. There are concerning social media posts, and the therapist's evaluation." "What therapist?" I cut in. "I haven't seen any therapist." "The one who observed you at the funeral," Jackson replied. "Professionally, of course. It's all very standard." That's when I remembered the leather-bound book in my laptop bag, the one I'd found in Mom's attic 2 days ago, hidden behind old photo albums. "Before we continue," I said, reaching down, "there's something Mom wanted everyone to see." Jackson's smile flickered. "This isn't the time for—" "Actually," I pulled out my laptop, "it's exactly the time. Max, honey, why don't you go ask the waiter for more lemonade?" Once Max was out of earshot, I connected to the projector they'd used earlier for Mom's photo tribute. My hands shook slightly as I opened the scanned pages. "Mom kept a ledger," I said. "She documented everything. The money you borrowed from Max's trust fund, the second mortgage you pressured her into, even your little conversation last month about taking custody of Max if anything happened to her." Selena's perfect smile cracked. Jackson's face went red. "Those are private family matters," he started. "Yes," I agreed. "They are. So let's keep them private. Unless you'd prefer everyone here sees exactly how you've been managing Mom's finances for the past 2 years?" Aunt Clara set down her wine glass with a sharp clink. "Jackson? What's she talking about?" I closed my laptop just as Max returned with his lemonade. "The papers can wait," I said quietly. "In fact, they can wait forever. But if you ever try to take my son again—" I met Selena's eyes. "Mom's ledger will be the least of your worries." "You're proving our point about stability," Jackson hissed. "No," I replied, standing up. "I'm proving Mom right. She always said karma comes to those who wait." I gathered our things, taking Max's hand. "And brother, I've gotten very good at waiting." As we walked out, I heard Aunt Clara demanding to see the ledger. Julia called after me, but I didn't turn around. In the car, Max looked up at me with Mom's eyes. "Are they trying to take me away?" I started the engine, remembering Mom's last words to me. "Truth is the best revenge, baby. Use it wisely." "No, sweetie," I said. "They're trying, but they're about to learn what happens when they mess with your grandmother's legacy. And that was just the beginning. I found Mom's ledger 2 days before the memorial dinner while sorting through decades of memories in her attic. It was tucked behind a stack of photo albums, bound in worn leather that still smelled like her perfume. "Mommy, look what I found," Max called from across the attic, holding up a dusty baseball mitt. "Was this Uncle Jackson's?" "No, honey. That was mine." I smiled, remembering summer evenings playing catch with Mom while Jackson was at his business internships. She always said I had a better arm than him, one of many things that drove him crazy. The ledger fell open to a page dated 3 months ago. Mom's handwriting, usually so precise, had become shakier near the end. Jackson and Selena came again about the investment opportunity. Asked for $50,000 from Max's trust fund. When I refused, Selena mentioned how unstable Christine has been since Tom's death. The threat was clear. My phone buzzed. A text from Julia. "Are you still at the house? We need to talk." 20 minutes later, Julia sat at Mom's kitchen table, clutching a coffee mug with trembling hands. Max was upstairs going through his grandmother's books. "What you did at dinner," Julia started. "You have no idea what you're getting into. Selena's been planning this for months." "Planning what exactly?" "The custody battle. She has friends in family services, Christine. They've been building a case, documenting every time you were late to school pickup, every sad Facebook post, every time you declined a family dinner because you were working." Julia leaned forward. "But that's not the worst part." I opened the ledger to a page I'd bookmarked. "Is it worse than them stealing from my son's trust fund?" "They got Mom to sign papers while she was in hospice," Julia said quietly. "I saw Selena there one night after visiting hours. She had documents." The coffee mug nearly slipped from my hands. "What kind of documents?" "I don't know." But the next day, Jackson was bragging to his golf buddies about securing his family's future. I flipped through the ledger until I found what I was looking for. Mom's last entry, dated just a week before she died. "If you're reading this, Christine, I'm so sorry. I should have seen it sooner. Jackson was always the golden child, but you were my heart. Don't let them take what's yours. The truth is all here. Every loan, every manipulation, every lie. Use it wisely, baby girl. And remember, karma's only a bitch if you are first." "They're saying you're paranoid," Julia warned. "Delusional. They'll try to use the ledger against you, say you fabricated it during a mental break." I pulled out my phone, scrolling through photos I'd taken of the ledger pages. Except Mom was smarter than that. Look at the dates on these bank statements, the transfer records. She kept everything. "What are you going to do?" The sound of Max's footsteps on the stairs made me close the ledger. He appeared in the doorway, holding a framed photo of Mom and me at my college graduation. "Can we put this in my room?" he asked. "Of course, buddy." I watched him carefully carry the photo upstairs, then turned back to Julia. "I'm going to do exactly what Mom taught me. Wait for the right moment, then strike. They'll destroy you." "No," I said, touching the ledger's worn cover. "They'll try, but Mom left me everything I need to destroy them first." My phone buzzed again, a text from Elliot, the family lawyer. "Found something in your mother's will. Need to meet ASAP." "You should go," Julia said, standing. "But Christine, be careful. Selena's not just after Max's trust fund anymore. She wants your whole life." I walked her to the door, then stood in Mom's kitchen, surrounded by half-packed boxes and fading memories. The ledger sat on the table like a loaded gun. Upstairs, I heard Max talking to the photo of his grandmother. "Don't worry, Grandma. Mom's really strong, like you said she was." I picked up the ledger and held it to my chest. Mom's last gift wasn't just evidence, it was permission. Permission to fight back. Permission to win. I texted Elliot back. "Meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m. Bring everything you found." Then I opened the ledger again, this time to study it like Mom would have wanted, not as a daughter seeking comfort, but as a mother protecting her child. Every page, every entry, every careful note was another bullet in my arsenal. Jackson and Selena wanted a war? Fine. But they forgot one crucial detail. I was Ruth's daughter. And Ruth never lost a fight. Elliot's office smelled like old leather and coffee. He spread documents across his desk while I sat across from him, trying to ignore the texts flooding my phone from Jackson's lawyer demanding I cease and desist sharing fraudulent materials. Your mother was thorough, Elliot said, adjusting his reading glasses. She came to see me 3 weeks before she passed, said she needed to make changes to her will. What kind of changes? He pulled out a document marked with yellow tabs. She added specific conditions regarding Max's custody. She was concerned. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Selena. You're only making this harder on yourself. Think about what's best for Max. I turned the phone face down. What were the conditions? First, Elliot leaned forward. You should know they've filed for emergency custody. They're claiming you've been exhibiting signs of paranoid behavior, including fabricating false documents to slander family members. The ledger isn't false. I know. He tapped the document. Because your mother showed it to me. She had me witness her final entries and notarize key pages. She knew they'd try to discredit it. A knock at the door interrupted us. Elliot's assistant poked her head in. Sorry, but Mrs. Whitfield, Selena, is here. She's demanding to speak with you. Tell her I'm in a meeting, Elliot said firmly. She says she has proof of Christine accessing confidential medical records illegally. I sat up straighter. What? Send her in, Elliot sighed. Selena swept into the office in designer clothes and perfectly styled hair. Her smile was razor sharp. Christine, what a surprise. Though I suppose I shouldn't be shocked to find you here, spreading more lies. The only lies here are yours, I said. How did you get Mom to sign those hospice documents? Her smile flickered. I don't know what you're talking about, but I do know about you accessing private records at the hospital where you used to volunteer. That's a federal offense. I haven't volunteered there since before Max was born. Really? Then how do you explain this? She pulled out her phone, showing an access log with my old ID number. Accessing medical records, financial documents. You've been quite busy. That's when it hit me. You used my old credentials? You're the one who's been accessing records. Prove it, she said sweetly. Oh, wait, you can't. Because according to the logs, it was all you. Just like those paranoid scribblings you're trying to pass off as Ruth's ledger. Elliot cleared his throat. Actually, Mrs. Whitfield, I can prove it. Ruth had me document everything, including your after-hours visit to her hospital room on March 15th. Selena's composure cracked. You can't. I can, he interrupted. And I've already forwarded all documentation to the State Bar Association. They're quite interested in a former lawyer using stolen credentials to access private records. The color drained from Selena's face. Jackson will what? Aunt Clara's voice came from the doorway. We all turned to see her standing there, arms crossed. Will he explain why my sister's signature appears on documents dated 3 days after she slipped into a coma? Because I'd love to hear that explanation. Selena grabbed her purse. This isn't over. No, I agreed. It's just beginning. After she stormed out, Clara sat down heavily in the chair beside me. I owe you an apology, Christine. I should have seen it sooner. We all should have, Elliot said, pulling out another document. But your mother did. Clara, she named you interim custodian in case anything happened to Christine. She specifically stated that only proven abuse, not mental health accusations, could change Max's custody. Clara reached for my hand. Jackson and Selena won't stop. They're desperate now. Good, I said, thinking of Max at school, probably worried about whether he'd come home to find his life changed forever. Let them be desperate. Let them make mistakes. My phone buzzed with a text from Julia. Selena's posting about you on social media, calling you unstable, dangerous. What do you want me to do? I showed the text to Elliot. What's our next move? He smiled grimly. We let them dig their own grave. Every post, every false accusation, every manipulated record, It's all evidence now. And then? Clara asked. I thought of Mom's last words in the ledger. Karma's only a bitch if you are first. Then we show them exactly what happens when you try to steal a mother's child, I said. We show them what real karma looks like. Clara squeezed my hand. Ruth would be proud. No, I corrected her, picking up my phone to text Julia back. Ruth would say we're just getting started. Your mother knew this day would come, Desiree said, pouring tea in Mom's kitchen. She'd been Mom's caregiver in the final months, but I was starting to realize she'd been much more than that. She told me everything. I watched steam rise from my cup. Why didn't she tell me? She did, in her way. Remember last Christmas, when Jackson brought up Max's college fund? The memory hit hard. Mom had gone unusually quiet during dinner, then asked me to help with dishes. Watch your brother, she'd said. He's not the golden child anymore. He's desperate. Ruth kept records of every conversation, Desiree continued, pulling out a small notebook, including the night Selena visited her in hospice. Would you like to hear? Before I could answer, the front door opened. Max ran in, followed by Julia, who'd picked him up from school. His face was red, eyes puffy. What happened? I stood up, but Max ran straight upstairs. Julia looked devastated. Selena's daughter told everyone at lunch that Max was going to live with them soon because you're sick in the head. The teachers had to break up a fight. She what? My hand shook with rage. There's more, Julia said. Jackson's lawyer sent papers to the school questioning your custody rights. They're not allowed to release Max to you without their approval now. Desiree cleared her throat. Perhaps Max should hear what his grandmother wrote, about both of you. Upstairs, I found Max curled up with Mom's old quilt. Hey, buddy, want to hear something special about Grandma? He nodded slightly. I sat beside him while Desiree settled into Mom's reading chair, opening her notebook. March 10th, she read. Christine came by with Max today. Watching them together reminds me of everything Jackson and Selena lack. Genuine love, patience, understanding. They see Max as a prize to be won. Christine sees him as her heart walking around outside her body. Max uncurled slightly. Grandma wrote that? She wrote lots of things, Desiree continued. Like how you helped her plant roses when everyone else was too busy. How Christine stayed up all night when you had flu, just like I did for her when she was little. Jackson always said I was her favorite, I said quietly. Desiree snorted. Jackson was her project, you were her pride. Big difference. A knock at the front door made us all freeze. Julia's voice floated up. It's Elliot! We found him in the kitchen, looking grimmer than usual. They've filed an emergency hearing for tomorrow morning, but they made a mistake. What kind of mistake? I asked. They claimed you've been refusing mental health treatment, but look at this. He pulled out a document. Your mother added a codicil to her will requiring psychological evaluation of all parties before any custody changes, including Jackson and Selena. They'll never agree to that, Julia said. They have to, Elliot smiled. It's already been ordered by the judge. Your mother made sure of it. Max tugged at my sleeve. Mom, am I going to have to go with them? I knelt down to his level. No, baby. You know why? Because Grandma left us everything we need to fight back. She left us the truth. Ruth left more than truth, Desiree said, patting her notebook. She left a trail. Every manipulation, every threat, every time they tried to access Max's trust fund. And I witnessed it all. Elliot's eyes lit up. You're willing to testify? Honey, I've been waiting to testify. Ruth made me promise to wait for the right moment. When Christine found that ledger, I knew it was time. My phone buzzed. Aunt Clara. Jackson's telling everyone you're having a breakdown. Selena's crying on Facebook Live about being worried for Max's safety. What's our next move? I looked around the kitchen, at Elliot with his legal documents, Desiree with her witness accounts, Julia with her unwavering support, and Max with his grandmother's fighting spirit in his eyes. Tell them to keep talking, I texted back. The louder they get, the harder they'll fall. Your mother said you'd say that, Desiree smiled. She also said to remind you about the safe deposit box. I froze. What safe deposit box? She pulled a key from her pocket. The one with the original trust fund documents, the ones showing who really controls Max's future. She winked at Max. Want to go on a field trip, young man? For the first time in days, Max smiled. Can we get ice cream after? Of course, I said, taking the key. We're celebrating. Celebrating what? Julia asked. I thought of Mom's words. Watch your brother. He's desperate. We're celebrating karma, I said. And perfect timing. The safe deposit box contained exactly what we needed, and something I never expected. Mom had documented everything, but she'd also left a letter addressed to Jackson. I stared at it while the bank manager gave us privacy in the viewing room. Are you going to open it? Julia asked. Not yet. I focused on the trust fund documents instead. Look at these transfer records. Every time they took money out, Mom made a note. And here, Selena's signature on papers dated after Mom was in a coma. My phone lit up with notifications. Selena had gone into full social media meltdown mode, posting tearful videos about her concerns for Max's well-being. The comments were filling with family members taking sides. She's really pushing the unstable mother narrative, Julia said, scrolling through her phone. But look at the timestamps. She's posted 15 times in the last hour. Who's really unstable? Mom? Max asked from his chair in the corner. Aunt Selena says you're sick like Dad was before he died. Is that true? The question hit like a punch to the gut. Tom's depression had been severe, but he'd gotten help. He died in a car accident, not from his illness. No, honey, I'm not sick. I'm angry. There's a difference. A difference they're about to learn, Elliot said, walking in with a stack of papers. The psychological evaluations are scheduled for tomorrow morning. All parties. Julia laughed. Selena must be losing it. Oh, she is, Elliot smiled. She just tried to file an emergency motion to block the evaluations. The judge denied it. My phone rang. Aunt Clara. Christine, you need to see what's happening on Facebook. Jackson's having some kind of public meltdown. I pulled up his profile. He'd posted a long rant about family loyalty, claiming I'd fabricated evidence to steal his rightful inheritance. The comments were brutal. Your brother's not looking very stable himself, Elliot observed. Should we show them what's in the box? Julia asked. Not yet, I said, thinking of Mom's strategy. Let them keep digging their hole. Max tugged my sleeve. Can I see Grandma's letter to Uncle Jackson? I hesitated, then opened it carefully. Mom's handwriting was shaky but clear. Jackson, my son, if you're reading this, you've gone too far. I know about the money. I know about Selena's plans. I know you think you deserve everything, but let me be clear. You deserve exactly what's coming to you. Christine isn't the weak one. She never was. I protected you too much, and that's my fault. But I won't let you hurt her or Max. The truth is in the ledger. The consequences are in this box. Choose wisely. Love, Mom. Damn, Julia whispered. Ruth wasn't playing. My phone buzzed again. A text from Selena. We need to talk. Alone. It's about Jackson. She's trying to play us against each other, Elliot warned. Good, I said, gathering the documents. Let's give her the chance. What are you planning? Julia asked. I thought of Mom's words. Choose wisely. I'm planning to let them self-destruct, I said. Max, honey, want to go get that ice cream now? He nodded but paused at the door. Mom? Are we going to be okay? I hugged him tight, breathing in his familiar scent. We're going to be better than okay. We're going to be free. I texted Selena back. Tomorrow, after the evaluations, bring everything you have on Jackson. What if she's setting a trap? Julia asked. Oh, she is, I said, patting the safe deposit box. But Mom left us everything we need to turn it around on them. Elliot checked his watch. The evaluations are at 9 a.m. Should I bring Desiree? Bring everyone, I said. It's time for the whole family to see who Jackson and Selena really are. As we left the bank, my phone lit up with another notification. Jackson had posted again, this time threatening to expose my dark secrets. He's getting desperate, Julia said. Good, I replied, watching Max skip ahead to the car. Because desperate people make mistakes, and tomorrow, those mistakes are going to cost them everything. I thought of Mom's letter in my bag, of the ledger at home, of all the evidence carefully gathered and preserved. Jackson and Selena wanted to play dirty? Fine. But they forgot one thing. Mom taught me how to win long before she taught me how to fight. Tomorrow couldn't come soon enough. The family reconciliation dinner was my idea. After the psychological evaluations, which Jackson and Selena mysteriously failed to attend, I reserved the same private room at Morton's where this all began. This time, though, I was ready. Are you sure about this? Julia helped me set up the laptop and projector. Once you show everything, there's no going back. That's the point. I arranged manila envelopes at each place setting. No more hiding. The family arrived in waves. Aunt Clara came first, followed by Elliot and Desiree. Then my estranged brother Cody walked in, his first family event in years. Got your message, he said gruffly. Figured it was time to see karma in action. Jackson and Selena arrived last, their lawyer in tow. Selena's Instagram-perfect makeup couldn't hide her nervousness. Jackson's face was flushed. He'd been drinking. What's this about, Christine? He demanded. More paranoid accusations? Sit down, Jackson, Aunt Clara snapped. You've done enough talking. Once everyone was seated, I stood. 2 weeks ago in this room, you tried to take my son. You called me unstable, dangerous. Tonight, we're going to talk about what those words really mean. I clicked the projector. The first image was a bank statement. This is Max's trust fund from 6 months ago. Click. This is it now. Notice anything? Jackson's lawyer started to speak, but Selena cut him off. Those documents are confidential. Nothing's confidential when it's obtained through fraud, Elliot said, standing. Like using stolen medical credentials to access private records. Speaking of which, he distributed papers. These are the access logs showing exactly when and where those credentials were used. Selena's perfect composure cracked. Jackson, do something! But Jackson was staring at the envelope in front of him. Mom's letter. Read it, I said quietly. Read what Mom knew about you, about both of you. His hands shook as he opened it. The room went silent as he read. Now, I continued, clicking through more documents. Let's talk about the hospice visit, the forged signatures, the attempts to frame me for medical record theft, the social media campaign to paint me as unstable. You don't understand, Selena burst out. We needed the money. Jackson's company is failing. We just needed access to Max's trust. Selena! Jackson's face went white. Shut up! No, please continue, Elliot smiled. The court recorder is getting everything. A small red light blinked in the centerpiece. The recording device Desiree had placed earlier. You tried to steal my son, I said, my voice steady. You tried to destroy my reputation. You tried to erase Mom's last wishes. And you failed. We can explain, Jackson started. Explain this, Cody spoke up, sliding his own envelope across the table. Bank records showing you embezzled from Mom's accounts while she was dying. I've been tracking your transactions for months. Selena stood up so fast her chair fell over. This is a setup. No, Aunt Clara said. This is justice. I clicked one final time. Mom's last video message filled the screen. If you're watching this, she said, then Jackson and Selena have done exactly what I feared. Christine, honey, you have everything you need in the ledger and the safe deposit box. And Jackson? She leaned closer to the camera. You chose poorly. The room erupted. Selena ran out crying. Jackson's lawyer started making calls. But I watched my brother, the golden child, the chosen one, crumble as 20 years of lies caught up in one moment. "Why?" he whispered. "Why did she trust you more than me?" "Because I never tried to steal what wasn't mine," I answered. "The custody hearing is canceled. The trust fund is sealed. And if you ever come near my son again, you'll what?" He tried to sneer, but his voice shook. "I won't have to do anything," I said. "The fraud charges will do it for me." On cue, 2 police officers entered the private room. "Jackson, we need you to come with us." As they led him away, Aunt Clara hugged me tight. Ruth would be so proud. "No," I said, watching Selena sob into her phone in the hallway. "Ruth would say we're not done yet." I picked up Mom's letter from where Jackson had dropped it. Tomorrow, the real fallout would begin. But tonight? Tonight was for remembering that karma doesn't just happen. Sometimes you have to help it along. Just like Mom taught me. The morning after Jackson's arrest, Selena called me crying. Not the perfectly orchestrated sobs from her social media videos. Real, ugly, desperate crying. "Please," she begged. "You have to help me. They're freezing all our accounts." I sat at Mom's kitchen table, watching Max eat breakfast. "Why would I help you?" "Because I can give you what you really want, the truth, about everything." Jackson wasn't working alone. 2 hours later, I met her at a coffee shop downtown. She looked nothing like the polished influencer who'd tried to steal my son. Her makeup was smeared, her designer clothes wrinkled. "Start talking," I said, recording on my phone. "It was supposed to be simple," she began. "Get control of Max's trust fund, use it to cover Jackson's investment losses." But then Ruth started asking questions. "So, you decided to take my son instead?" She flinched. "Jackson's idea. He said if we had custody, no one would question the money transfers." She pulled out her phone, hands shaking. "I have proof, recordings, emails, everything." "Why turn on him now?" "Because he's trying to blame it all on me." Her laugh was bitter. "Told his lawyer I forced him into it, that I manipulated Ruth's signature while he was at work." "Didn't you?" "We both did. But he's going to get away with it, just like he always does. The golden child, right?" I thought of Mom's words in the ledger. "Truth is the best revenge." "Show me everything," I said. For the next hour, Selena laid out their entire scheme. The forged documents, the stolen passwords, the planned character assassination. She had receipts for everything. "Send it all to Elliot," I said when she finished. "Every file, every recording." "And then what?" "Then you go to the DA. Tell them everything you told me. Maybe they'll be lenient." She stared into her cold coffee. "He never loved Max, you know. Just saw him as a walking bank account." "I know. Ruth knew too. That's why she—" Selena's voice cracked. "That's why she changed her will. She said Max deserved better than to become Jackson's personal ATM." My phone buzzed. "Julia. Turn on the news. Now." I pulled up the local news website. Jackson's company was being investigated for massive fraud. His biggest clients were speaking out. The golden child's empire was crumbling. "They're coming for me next," Selena whispered. "Yes," I agreed. "They are." She stood up, gathering her designer purse, probably the last one she'd owned for a while. "I'm sorry, Christine. About Max. About everything." "No, you're not. You're just sorry you got caught." Back home, I found Max and Aunt Clara looking through old photo albums. "Mom!" Max held up a picture. "Look at this one of you and Grandma." It was from my college graduation. Mom beaming with pride while Jackson sulked in the background. "Your grandmother knew exactly what she was doing," Clara said. "Setting up the ledger, the safe deposit box, the video. She was building a case." "Building my case," I corrected. "She knew I'd need it." My phone rang. Elliot. "Selena's talking to the DA. Jackson's trying to make a deal. It's over, Christine." But it wasn't over. Not yet. That evening, as the news covered Jackson's arrest and Selena's confession, Max crawled into my lap like he used to when he was smaller. Are Uncle Jackson and Aunt Selena going to jail? Probably, honey. Is that why Grandma left you all those papers? To protect me? I hugged him tight, remembering Mom's last words to me. Truth is the best revenge, baby. Use it wisely. Grandma left us the truth, I said, because she knew that's all we'd need. She was right, Clara said from the doorway. The truth did more damage than any revenge could have. My phone lit up with a text from Selena. Meeting with prosecutors tomorrow. Jackson's lawyer reached out. He's desperate. I showed Clara the message. She smiled grimly. Let him be desperate. Let him feel what you felt when they tried to take Max. No, I said, watching Max flip through the photo album. Let him feel what Mom felt, watching her golden child become exactly what she feared. That night, I dreamed of Mom. Not sick or dying, but strong and fierce, writing in her ledger, building the case that would save her grandson, protecting us even after she was gone. The truth was her revenge, and it was perfect. The courtroom was silent as Jackson stood for sentencing. Gone was the designer suit, replaced by a wrinkled button-down that hung loose on his frame. He'd aged decades in weeks. The defendant has pled guilty to all charges, the judge announced. Before I deliver the sentence, would the victim's family like to speak? I squeezed Max's hand and stood. Jackson wouldn't meet my eyes. My mother taught me that family means protection, I began. Not exploitation, love, not manipulation. She left us a ledger full of truth, but its real message wasn't about money or fraud. It was about choices. Jackson flinched. My brother chose greed over family. He chose to target a 9-year-old boy, his own nephew, for profit. He chose to blame his wife when caught. Each choice brought us here. Selena sat in the back, already wearing an ankle monitor from her plea deal. She'd gotten house arrest in exchange for her testimony. I don't want revenge, I continued. Mom already handled that with her ledger. I want justice. For Max, for Mom, for every truth they tried to bury. The judge nodded. Mr. Jackson, do you have anything to say? My brother's voice cracked. I'm sorry. Sorry you got caught, Aunt Clara muttered behind me. The sentence came down hard. 15 years. As they led Jackson away, he turned back once. Christine. But I was already gathering Max close, shielding him from his uncle's last attempt at manipulation. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Aunt Clara ran interference while Julia brought the car around. Mom! Max tugged my sleeve. Can we go see Grandma? At the cemetery, Max placed fresh roses on Mom's grave while I sat on the bench nearby holding her ledger. I did it, Mom, just like you planned. Mrs. Christine? Desiree appeared with her own flowers. Ruth would be proud. Not of the revenge, of how you protected Max. That's all she wanted. I know. I opened the ledger to its last page. She left one final note I haven't shared. Want to hear it? Max came to sit beside me as I read, My dearest Christine and Max, power isn't about money or control. It's about truth. About standing firm when others try to break you. I'm leaving you this ledger not for revenge, but for protection. Use its truth to build something better than what Jackson destroyed. All my love, Mom. Build what? Max asked. I smiled, pulling out a fresh notebook. A new legacy. Want to help? We spent the afternoon writing our own first entry. Not about revenge or justice, but about moving forward. About the family we'd rebuild. Stronger, wiser, protected by truth instead of lies. My phone buzzed. Julia sending a news alert. Jackson's company was being dissolved. His clients were suing. Selena's influencer empire had crumbled to nothing. Karma really is a patient lady, Desiree said, reading over my shoulder. Patient and thorough, I agreed. Just like Mom. That evening, surrounded by photo albums and memories in Mom's kitchen, Aunt Clara raised a toast. To Ruth, Who knew exactly what she was doing? To Mom, I echoed. Who taught me that the best revenge isn't serving it cold, it's serving it truthful. To Grandma, Max added, who protected us even when she couldn't be here. I opened our new notebook, picking up where Mom's ledger left off. Not to document wrongs or plan revenge, but to build something she'd be proud of. Something real. What should we write first? Max asked. I thought of Mom's last words. Use its truth to build something better. Let's write about love, I said. About protection. About the kind of family we want to be. As Max dictated his thoughts about family game nights and holiday traditions, I watched truth replace revenge. Healing override hurt. Mom's ledger had given us justice, but this notebook would give us future. Mom? Max paused in his storytelling. Are we going to be okay now? I pulled him close, breathing in the scent of roses from the cemetery. We already are, baby. We already are. Somewhere, I knew Mom was smiling. Not because karma had won, but because truth had. And in the end, that's all she'd wanted. For truth to protect her family when she no longer could. It had. It would. And that was better than any revenge.